Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we have a very exciting video as we are testing these two crochet kits from The Works. So before we get started, this isn't a sponsored video. I bought them myself and all the opinions of the kits are my own. I was really interested just to see how I felt these worked up and how all the different materials in the kits were. So we've got the gonk one here with a little gonk with the flowers and the blue hat. I feel like this is going to be the more complicated of the two. And then we've got this ice cream one with 3 little scoops and the ice cream. So all of them come with, there's a picture in the back, the colours of yarn. So this one has 4, a beige, blue, pink and a yellow, a crochet hook, you can't really see it, but a darning needle and stuffing. And then this one has a beige, a blue, a white, a sort of dark brown, a yellow crochet hook, darning needle and stuffing. So I'm very excited to try these out and see how they work up, how the instructions are, as well as how the finished product looks and if it compares to the picture. So I think I'm going to start with this ice cream one and let's get started. So I've got all the different pieces of the kit laid out here. We've got the 3 colours for the scoops, which I really like these colours, they're really vibrant. And the colour for the cone, which I also really like. And then we've got our instructions here. And I like the fact that on the inside they tell you how to do the different stitches if you have never crocheted before, and also how you can hold your crochet hook. We've also got our stuffing, and I've used these plastic darning needles before. I personally didn't find them very easy to use and I found they broke really easily, but for the purpose of testing the kit I will use this. The same with this crochet hook. I personally don't like plastic crochet hooks, but again I will test it and try, and if I really can't work with this, I also ordered these soft grip crochet hooks from The Works as well, which I will use just in case this one doesn't work. I'm fairly sure this is a 4. This one's definitely a 4. I don't know if this is a 4mm. It's either a 4 or a 3. So let's start crocheting and see what he wants us to do. So I haven't started crocheting yet, but I just unwound the yarn and it's in a sort of hank state. So I think I'm going to wind this just into a little ball with my fingers, because I feel like with a new crochet you'd probably be confused and also get distangled, because if you pull both bits here it's sort of leaving it in a mess already, which is a little bit confusing. Another thing I realised, they don't give you a stitch marker, so I will be using the stitch markers that I have while I'm making this, because I feel like stitch markers are a really important thing to include, and I'm kind of surprised there isn't a stitch marker, especially when, if for new crocheters you don't necessarily know how to count the rounds yet. But I'm going to wind this up and we can get started. Hello everyone, so I have wound this up. It did take a while and it got a bit knotted, which was a little bit annoying, but I've realised the pattern's written in UK stitch terms, so whereas what I normally follow, which is US stitch terms, a single crochet is a double crochet in this pattern, which I think could trip people up if they've known how to crochet and learn off US stitch terms. But it does show you in here how to do the different stitches, and that's how I worked out the difference. But I'm going to start making this scoop of ice cream now, so let's get started. Hello everyone, I'm back already. I've done this much of the first one. I do not like this crochet hook. I've been finding that when I do a stitch like this, the yarn slides off the end really easily like that, because this hook part isn't very big, and I've not been enjoying it. So I think I'm going to try switching to this hook, because it has got a very different handle, like a very different end. I think this is a 4mm. I'm going to test it against a 3 as well, hang on. After comparing them, I do actually think this is a 3mm, so I'm going to try using the 3 and the 4 to see which one it is, but I'm not a fan of this hook. I'm personally really struggling, and I've used some bad crochet hooks, and I've used some that are like 3 sizes too small, and that is just not a fun experience. So I'm going to try using this. I do like the grip on this one though. These are new hooks that I got at the same time as this. So let me continue working on this with these new hooks and we will see how I like them. So I have finished the pink ice cream cone. It looks really strange, but I'm fairly sure when we're sewing it on, we're going to stuff it and then sew around the edge and sort of sew it like that. But I am going to now make the yellow and the blue one, so I will get back to you in a minute. So these 2 ice cream cones are done. And I don't know how this is going to turn into like a domed scoop at the minute, but we'll see. And I did have quite a lot of yarn left. I've got a good amount of each colour. So it's time to make the cone. I really like this colour actually. I do have one thing about the yarn, but I am going to save that to the end and I'll talk about the parts that I liked and parts I didn't like of all the kits. Maybe able to tell already. I do like this crochet hook. This is the Make and Create crochet hook set. There were 6 in the set, all these, and I'm using the 4mm. But I am not a fan of this one because they like the stitches slip off. But I'm gonna make the ice cream cone and then I will show you the finished product. So I finished the cone. It is quite big, but I now need to sew all of these on and stuff it. Do have quite a lot of beige again, but it's time to stuff it. I feel like this isn't going to be enough stuffing, but let's open it and see how much we need and how much there is. Oh, there is actually quite a lot here. This should be enough. I don't know how to fit in that bag, but you know. Let's assemble this. So I decided to get the camera a little bit closer because I finished the ice cream. It's really cute actually. So I've got all the colours out. This yellow is actually a lot brighter than I thought it would be compared to the picture. But we've got a lot of this beige, quite a lot of this dark blue, a little bit of this like warm brown, a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white, plus our stuffing, our plastic crochet hook, which again I am going to be using this one, which is also by Make and Create, which is the same brand that the crochet kits are from, just because I cannot use these plastic needles, the plastic crochet hooks. I can use a plastic needle, I worked out how to do it. I feel like it will break a little bit. And then we've got our 2 pages of instructions. So I am going to get started with whatever this wants me to make. So I have made the body, but I've also made the arms. Ooh, there's a leg. The legs and the nose as well. So I just need to make the hat and the flowers for the hat. So I thought I'd give you a quick update. So I'm also done with these 2 colours now, and I just need to use the blue, the white and the yellow. So let me quickly finish that and then we can put it together. I have finished making the hat and the flowers now, so let's sew this together. I'm really excited to see how it turns out. Right, I have finished all the sewing and here is the gong. I think it's actually turned out really cute. I like the way the moustache was sewn on. I think it was quite interesting to start with, and the instructions for that little bit weren't too clear, but I managed to make it work and I've sewn it together. We're not going to talk about the fact I sewed the arms on wonky, and I'm fairly sure this one actually has an accidental extra round, but that's fine. That is my mistake, but we can get past that. The flowers on the side of the hat are so cute as well. So let's get our ice cream as well, and these are the two things we made from the crochet kits. So I have a couple of points to make about them. We've got 2 positive, 2 negative. I personally actually did like the kits quite a lot. I love the finished product. I think it's really cute for both of them, and I thought the pattern was really helpful as well, and like, except for the little bit on the moustache and a little bit on the sewing and how the sewing worked on some of them, I thought the patterns were really good, really clear and really helpful. Now, the not so incredible part. First of all, the crochet hook. I did not like this plastic crochet hook at all. I felt like this bit here, I'm gonna have to move some bits so I can actually make it visible. This bit here wasn't very good at holding the yarn because it's so small. It's supposed to be able to like catch the yarn in this little bit here, but because of the size of it, you couldn't. So I had to switch to this hook, which is by the same company as the kits were made from, but it's got a much larger hook, so it's a lot easier to hold them, as you can see. So I preferred using this hook, and I couldn't use this hook for most of it. I think I did this pink bit of the ice cream, and that was it before I had to switch to this one because I couldn't use this one because the yarn kept splitting. Now, from working with the yarn, I don't know if that was the yarn or the crochet hook or both, because this yarn is an S-twist yarn, and that it means it's aimed at right-handed knitters because of the way, if you are right-handed and you knit, you would throw the yarn. So if you're a right-handed crocheter, it actually will start to untwist like this, and then you'll be able to see gaps in it, and you can end up stabbing the hook through and getting it all shed and stuff like that. So I will put a diagram on the screen as well of the difference between an S-twist and a Z-twist. But I'm fairly sure, say this is the white from the gonk, I'm fairly sure this is a Z-twist because it is so much smaller and it holds together a lot more nicely, which is why I was a bit confused with some of these, because some of them feel like they might be S-twist and some feel like they might be Z-twists. So I feel like the consistency with that with the kit is a little bit off and was a little bit confusing and therefore hard to work with. And I did like the colours of the yarn, but the Make and Create yarn that they have as well, I really like that, and that is a really good yarn that I've used loads. I will actually get one to show you. This green I've had for ages and ages, but it's a Make and Create yarn and it holds together really well and is twisted differently to the way these two are as well. So I have a feeling that it's maybe a different yarn from elsewhere as opposed to the yarn that's sold by Make and Create, which is why it's different and more difficult. But that is my I didn't not like using the yarn, I just think it would be a lot easier to have a different yarn that didn't twist and split as much. And also, as I mentioned earlier, when you twist the yarn on some of them and you'd pull it really tight, it would actually just separate and the strands would come apart. So that happened about 4 times when I was sewing and tying the knot from when I was sewing. So I feel like the yarn needs to be a little bit stronger, and that would help with, especially if you're a beginner and making the kit, it would definitely help with that. Now, the third thing, this is sort of like another thing. I thought these plastic crochet hooks wouldn't be very good because I've had ones like these that snap, and I usually use a metal angled crochet hook. No, darning needle. Not sure why I've been saying crochet hook. But I actually found this one really good. I think if you were sewing lots of different things, it might break eventually, but compared to how strong I thought it would be and how much it was likely to bend, I actually think it was really good. And the last two little things for it is, one, with the gonk, I used up all of the stuffing, and you can probably see with the body I could have probably used a little bit more because it's quite squishy, the body. But with the ice cream cone I had enough, and I would definitely shorten the ice cream cone just a little bit to make it a little bit shorter. But the stuffing probably could have been a little bit more in the gonk and a little bit less in the ice cream cone. Especially if you've got looser tension than me, then you would definitely have run out for the gonk. But the last thing is, there wasn't a stitch marker in the kit, which I know it's a really little thing and you could count your stitches. I just feel like for beginners it would be a lot easier if there was a stitch marker, because one of these has saved me a lot of times because I cannot count stitches for the life of me. So it's just easy, like it's an easier and more helpful way to do that. But that is everything on these kits. Let me know your thoughts about them and how I've made them. If you've tried some of them before, then let me know what you thought of them. And here are the final products again. And I do really like the patterns for them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. See you in the next one. Bye!